I'm Dennis Anderson along with Kelsey Roseth, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
The region's unemployment rate has hit its lowest point in the past 10 years. That's great for the local economy, but not so great if you own a business looking to grow.
Well, the historic Norshor Theatre reopened this week following a multi-million-dollar renovation. We'll take a look back at its history and what it means for downtown Duluth.
And we'll have some of the top stories from a busy week in business.
So it's all coming up right now on Almanac North. Well, hello again and welcome to Almanac North. Thank you very much for watching. Well, the new face sitting next to me in the co-host chair is Kelsey Roseth. She's filling in for Julie this week. Welcome, Kelsey, to the show. And you've actually got TV experience out in Fargo, North Dakota.
I do, yep. I served as a news anchor and reporter there.
Well, we're glad to have you on the set tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And there's plenty to talk about, too, so why don't you begin?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Denny. Minnesota's latest unemployment numbers are the lowest they've been in years. And while that's great news for the regional economy, it does pose a challenge for companies trying to fill open positions. Help is on the way for employers with an upcoming Workforce Solutions series sponsored by the City of Duluth and other public and private partners. Joining us with more is Duluth Mayor Emily Larson, who is encouraging local businesses to get engaged. And Roy Smith is the Director of Talent Development for the Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation Department. Thanks to you both for being here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Mayor Larson, how big of a problem is it right now in Duluth? Are there businesses who are actively looking to find qualified workers?
Yes, there are many, and some of it is sector-based. We hear this from our hospitals, for instance. They're ready to hire, they're ready to ramp up and not getting all the applicants. We hear this in manufacturing. We hear it at AAR out in the air park. And so it is actually already an existing issue. It is one that we will see grow, however. Between now and 2024, within our entire region, we need about 38,000 people. Wow. Now, some of that will be people like my kids who aren't yet working age, but will be. And some of that will be natural growth of economies and new jobs. But some of it really is filling the existing needs that we have.
Roy, you have a rather interesting title. What does a talent developer do? You're from the Iron Range right now.
Correct. Well, my focus is purely on talent development. We work on developing pipelines for individuals who are trying to move from high school into college or the trades. We work on incumbent worker training. We work on professional development skills. So it's more than just workforce development. It really is creating a pool of talent in the region that our companies that are trying to grow here or looking to relocate here will have to draw from.
So does the Iron Range have the same problem the mayor was talking about in Duluth? That is, can't find enough qualified workers?
Well, the issues are very similar on the range. Our companies, the industry mix on the range is a little bit different because we do have mining. We have a little bit more in the forestry products and those sorts of things, manufacturing as well. Healthcare is our biggest employer in the region. So as you look at that sort of industry profile, many of those jobs are jobs that you can't just simply walk off the street and take. They're highly skilled positions. So while the issues are the same, the opportunities for individuals are even greater right now. So with a job vacancy rate of almost a 1-to-1 in the region, it's a tremendous time to be somebody looking for work if you have the right skills.
Now, Mayor Larson, can we talk a little bit about the recruiting that's being done? I mean, how are we reaching out to individuals who could potentially relocate here?
Yeah. Well, so I'm a workforce geek. Before I was mayor and a city councilor, I worked in the realm of workforce. So it's a topic I really feel passionately about. And at the city, we have a workforce development set of programs, that we get funding to match employers with employees, to help dislocated workers get retrained, to help young people skill up. So we have a lot that we are already doing. There's many things that our employers are doing, but I think what we're finding is that employers need an opportunity to connect with each other. So this Workforce Series is going to do two things. It's going to provide a lot of information. So we have, in the first one, which is February 13th, the state demographer will be here and talking about the changing patterns of the population across Minnesota and what are the skills that we need to be looking for and how we need to be training people. We'll have community colleges there, which is, of course, a really big part of getting people skilled up and trained, and then give businesses a chance to share ideas together. How are they recruiting? What are they doing to retain? What are these workspaces doing to ensure that people who want to work remotely, or immigrant populations, which is going to be some of our big population growth in Minnesota? We aren't quite ready for that here, and we need to be, because that's where we're going to find an enormous amount of talent.
You bring up a good point, and maybe you can both address it. If we're searching to have more people move to northeastern Minnesota to work, are we really set up for it? I think about the housing, the critical housing shortage, isn't there? Both on the range and in Duluth.
Yeah.
Yes. Housing is an issue. On the range, people are attracted to communities that have a high quality of life, and so we work as Duluth is doing, as the range cities are doing, is trying to attract talent. When we look at companies that are looking to expand or relocate in northeastern Minnesota, or individuals who are looking to relocate in Minnesota, it used to be about taxes and about wage subsidies and will you build us a building? And now the first thing they ask really is, am I going to be able to find the talent I need and the educational infrastructure to support it? And so when we really look at those things around education, the ability to grow, what's there for my family to do, I think the other thing, as the mayor indicated about the Workforce Solutions Series, is it really gives employers, I think, an opportunity to learn about what sort of things really motivate this next generation of workers. It's not all about wages anymore. Retention issues are around, do I have time for my family? Can I get involved in the community and pursue the social things that I want to pursue while I work for this company?
Sure. Yeah.
So there's a lot of other things that go into it rather than just hours and wages. And when the labor market is this tight, it really is an employee's market. So when I can work for several different companies, why do I want to work for yours? Yeah. So we need to help companies understand that as well.
So now, Mayor Larson, following the Workforce Solutions Series, what are some action steps that you're hoping to happen after these conversations take place? I mean, what will be happen next?
Well, there's a lot that a city can do. There is a role for government in a conversation like workforce or housing, because certainly we know, in fact, all day today I spent talking about housing with the Greater Minnesota Housing Finance, and then on the task force, the governor's task force for housing. It is a statewide issue, and ensuring that people have wage growth enough to meet the increasing cost of housing is important. There's a role for government there. There is a role for government in terms of applying for some of these great grants, these pathway grants that we apply for regularly. We just had a very successful run with the Carpenters Union, getting people trained and apprenticed there and placed in work. We're going to do that with healthcare. We have several other areas that we're looking at. And I think actually in Duluth, part of what we'll be seeing is growth in some of those sectors that we've kind of already touched on. Some of it is going to be helping people to remember that there are existing opportunities that we're going to be seeing a lot of transition. The trades is one of those. So ensuring that we're doing programs like Construct Tomorrow, which the trades are doing with the school district, getting school kids, high school kids, my sons, out of the classroom and into a hands-on setting. So not just keeping that for high school kids, the city of Duluth is working with that program to make sure that we're opening that up to other adults who want to get in there.
Roy, it sounds like there's a huge future for the trades.
There's a huge future. When we look at the region as a whole, right around 70% of the job growth that's coming are really around the skilled trades. It used to be we started to push people off to a 4-year degree. We realized that many of our jobs available are in the skilled trades and even short-term, shorter term training than that. And so I think of the fact that of the workers that we're going to need, this 38,000 or whatever the number might be, A lot of those workers are already in the workforce, but they're working 2 jobs just trying to get by, and we need to do a better job as systems. It really is a story of systems. How do we better connect the training that we have? We've got fantastic secondary and post-secondary educational institutions in the region prepared to train people. We have organizations out there like NEMOJET and AOA and DEED and all those different folks that are tasked with connecting people into the workforce. And we've got industry out there that are looking for people. And as a region, I can say this with confidence, I don't think there's any other rural place in the country that's better equipped to solve this issue than right here.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mayor, if we can pivot just a little bit and talk about the increase in city sales tax in order to help pay for some of the infrastructure and streets. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah, it has been a really busy week. In fact, I did say I took a little nap before I came in tonight because I've been talking about streets and housing. We opened the Norshor. I know you're going to hear about that. So it has been a banner week in Duluth. But yes, one of the things that we're getting ready for, we actually hosted the Senate bonding tour this week to look at some of the projects that we're supporting as the city of Duluth. And I did talk with them about the city sales tax. So it is the vote that voters got a chance to, share their voice in November. The 0.5% dedicated sales tax passed every single precinct in the city of Duluth. It won with 77% of the vote. And so now what we need to do is go to the legislature and simply ask them to ratify that, ask them to honor the will of the electorate.
And Mayor, to bounce off of that, the Duluth Chamber of Commerce did vote to go ahead and support the 0.5% increase in the sales tax. How important was that?
Oh, well, I think it's terrific. We had a plan. We were moving forward. Doing that as much in sync with other big, important entities is terrific. So I'm really pleased that that's the case. And now it really allows us to go down to Duluth Days and go down to the Capitol with a more unified message. We had a good message. The voters had voted. It was clear. We had already been doing the work around that and working with legislators. It's a stronger voice now, and I'm really looking forward to that.
How confident are you that it will happen?
Well, what I have learned in this job is you can't control everything. So I am confident that we have a good message, we have a decisive vote, we have all the facts, we've done our homework. What I can't do is make legislators vote one way or another, but the indicators they're giving us now is that they're interested in supporting the will of this electorate.
Well, thank you both very much for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
Mayor, Roy, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you have done. Thank you for the many ways you will continue to support this theater and our creative economy. Let's open the Norshor Theatre. This project is a $30.5 million project. These don't come along very often, and the opportunity for a community to reclaim a theater like this is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It takes a city to build a theater. Everybody is responsible for what's happening today in this city. It's phenomenal. It is lights on and it's energy on in downtown Duluth.
We know it's going to have a tremendous impact and a positive economic impact on our downtown area, especially the Historic Arts and Theater District, but I think as a community as a whole, because it truly is showcasing our local and regional artists and really lifting them up and celebrating.
And there you have it. The historic Norshor Theatre opened its doors to the public this week after a $30 million renovation. To say the least, it's a milestone that many believed would never happen after several failed attempts over many years to revive the theater. A public-private partnership finally came together to bring the majestic theater back to life, and its supporters say the Norshor is a key to the revived downtown Duluth. And so, joining us now with more is Kristi Stokes. She's president of the Greater Downtown Council here in Duluth, and Tony Dierckins is an author and historian who runs Zenith City Press. Thanks to both of you for being here. Kristi, just what does the restored North Shore mean for downtown?
It's such an amazing thing because we look at how the downtown has gone through kind of some cycles with the North Shore. We had the heyday, we had the great times with the vaudeville, with the Orpheum, and then we went through the times where it kind of went into disrepair after some unsuccessful bids. So I talked about this week. It was like we had a missing link, and so this is something that really fills that gap, and it just is going to bring so much more energy and excitement to our downtown, and the economic impact is going to be tremendous.
What is the economic impact going to be like? What do you hope to bring to the city?
You're already starting to see it. But with the show opening last night, all the additional people that were in the downtown going to the restaurants, sticking around in the downtown after work for a show or things like that. And then you're going to see it as a catalyst for additional development too, I know that.
Now, Tony, can we talk a little bit about the history of the theater?
Sure.
Can you give us a litd bit of background
Well,
for people who might not be familiar?
What's remarkable about the North Shore's history is that it's the third theater on that site to be bringing us live entertainment, and in the movies, of course, since 1889. It started with the Temple Opera House, which was behind the Temple Opera Block, opened in 1889 as an opera house, obviously. It burned in 1896. Actually sat in ruins for about 10 years or more and became a roller rink. And then they leveled that, and Guilford Hartley built the Orpheum Theater, and it was our premier vaudeville house for many years. But the movies put an end to vaudeville, and they tried converting it to a movie house. That didn't work. And in 1940, the Minnesota Amusement Company leased both that building, the Orpheum, and actually the Orpheum parking garage, built as a parking facility. And in the inside, turned the theater around, literally, the old Orpheum Theater, and built Duluth's Art Deco masterpiece inside of two buildings that arguably are not Art Deco.
In fact, Tony, we want to take another look back to the history of the North Shore in this piece from a Channel 8 documentary of a few years ago called Stage to Screen.
The North Shore was a magical place. The curtain opened and closed at the beginning and end of each movie, and it just seemed like a cut above everything else.
The North Shore is actually a theater within a theater, built inside the shell of the old Orpheum.
The architects were quite bold when they came up with the idea for the North Shore Theater to actually, reverse that floor plan and utilize the Superior Street access from the garage. It's remarkable what they've done.
Designed by the Twin Cities firm of Liebenberg and Kaplan, the North Shore was considered a masterpiece of the streamlined Deco style. The new theater was a marked departure from the over-the-top ornateness of the Orpheum. The North Shore had less surface decoration, rounded corners, and smooth surfaces. Another striking feature of the style was a vertical sign tower soaring skyward.
It was covered in lights, and some say it could be seen 60 miles away. People on the south shore of Lake Superior report seeing it at night.
When it opened in 1941, the North Shore featured the world's only theater milk bar, serving nothing but dairy products. A large mural behind the bar featured cartoonish farm scenes and the attendants dressed as milkmaids. The spacious auditorium with its balcony could seat 1,400 and featured the largest screen in the Northwest.
When the lights went down and the projector went on, it projected whatever image was always, the music would start, onto that curtain, that big curtain, and it would glide open, and then you'd see, Gone with the Wind.
Now, Tony, let's talk just a little bit about the fact that there are so many beautiful historic buildings in the area. I mean, why have people been fighting so hard for the North Shore to stay and be honored that way?
The North Shore, I think there's a sentimentality we have about the North Shore. Those, first of all, that grew up going to the movies there, remember it, like Jim Heffernan, who we just saw there. And then those of us that were there when things like the Homegrown Music Festival started and other things that still go on today. So there's a certain nostalgia and sentimentality for it. And it's also, what's important too is, don't forget, it's part of the downtown, that's not just an arts district, but that's a historic district. Everything east of Lake Avenue there. And it's very important for us to retain as much of that original historic architecture as possible. Otherwise, we lose the feel of the district, right? The tying in those historic buildings together to give it its character. Besides what goes on inside the buildings, the exterior has to reflect the character as well.
It really is an entertainment anchor for the Heart District for us now. And so you see this in downtowns across the country where you've seen so many theaters that have been renovated and have helped with some of that revival.
Absolutely.
Our historic arts and theater district, we were just waiting for that Norshor Theatre to open.
Now, Kristi, once all the hoopla dies down, what has to happen to keep people coming to the North Shore?
We have to keep people supporting it. You know, this is our way of showcasing and lifting up the local and regional arts community. And so I think there is a tremendous amount of support for the arts community here, and this is a great way to showcase them. So people have to keep coming back, and I think we're definitely going to be seeing that.
It's now a live stage theater, not a movie theater anymore. No screen, no projector. Is that a mistake?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
there'll
it's,
be enough live production to keep it moving.
oh, absolutely.
Well, there's a movie house across the street.
Yeah.
Right.
And let's not forget, this is if we went from vaudeville, or we went from opera to vaudeville to movies, and now we're going back to the stage. This building, there's been an evolution of performance art, whether screened or live, since 1889. That continues with this. It's another stage in its evolution serving Duluth.
Now, Kristi, what type of events or what's going to be happening here in the near future that people can look forward to?
The Playhouse is the one that is managing it, and so they're taking care of a lot of that. I know that Mayor Ness last night was talking about he's already going to be doing something in the North Shore with the Low as well. So that's something that we can be looking forward to. So you're going to be seeing that in between the productions for the Playhouse. There will be different opportunities for performers.
Mm-hmm. Kristi, have you been in the refurbished theater yet?
I have. I was at the show last night.
Tell us, what's it look like in there? I
It
mean, we
was
saw some
amazing.
pictures.
You
but-
know, it is, I think it just makes you go, wow, when you walk in. It's just so beautiful. It takes you back as well, and it's just awe-inspiring. And I said the thing that stands out for me is just being able to see that marquee lit again and really serve as that beacon in our downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are we expecting a lot of people to be traveling from, here in the Northland to come down and watch shows and really draw in people?
Absolutely. You know, I think we heard people that were even talking about it from the Twin Cities area that were saying, we want to be able to get there to see that North Shore. Many, as Tony said, have those stories. It's that sentimental value as well.
How was Mamma Mia?
Oh, it was amazing. So that was something I should encourage anyone. Hopefully people have tickets to it and will get a chance to see it. They are amazing.
They couldn't have picked a better opening performance, right?
That's right. No, it was just phenomenal. And it was great to see so much support in our community come out for it. It was a true celebration.
Mm-hmm. Well, we certainly, I know, Tony, you haven't seen the movie theater yet inside.
I haven't been inside.
But
I'm
you've
jealous.
been inside of it
Absolutely.
while it was being remodeled or prior to.
Prior to
You're going to have a big
throughout its
surprise
years,
after what you know about
I
it.
can't wait to see the inside. I just hope that in the future, if it's the great success we all expect it to be, perhaps someday we can get that tower back up there, drawing people in as that literal beacon. Mm-hmm. And I'd also love to see them go up on the avenue there and fix up that facade of the old Orpheum, right? And make that, kind of complete the whole package there someday when that allows.
When you walk into the new North Shore, years ago there were people, employees, dressed to usher you to your seat. There were ushers in fine costume. It would be kind of fun to see that again, but that's not happening.
I have no idea if it's. I guess there's a bunch of many people have volunteered to be ushers.
There were there were
Wonderful.
people last night. I don't know what the plans are for the future, but there were people just really showcasing the whole facility last night as well.
Denny, you're envisioning the bellhop uniform.
I am.
Yes,
flashlights.
right.
And a little flashlight. I'm having flashbacks. It was wonderful. Kristi, Tony, thank you
Thank
both
you.
so very much. All the best. Hope everything works out well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's time now for the business news from the editors at Business North. Cleveland Cliffs wants to lease mineral rights from the state of Minnesota near its newly acquired land near Nashwauk. A formal request was submitted this week to the DNR, according to Cliffs CEO Lorenzo Goncalves. Goncalves addressed the issue Thursday at the company's annual Iron Range briefing. The ore is needed by Hibbing Taconite, where the existing mine could be depleted in 7 or 8 years. In a surprising disclosure, Goncalves said he'd be willing to sell some of that ore to Mesabi Metallics, a rival in the business that acquired the former SR Steel assets in a bankruptcy auction.
Vanta Coda, the Duluth Seaway Port Authority's chief executive, will leave the post next Friday. The Port Authority Board of Commissioners accepted his resignation this week and appointed CFO Kevin Beardsley interim director until a replacement is selected. Coda took the job back in 2013 following a 20-year career in transportation and logistics with several large firms. Coda is pursuing a new opportunity, but no further details were available. During his tenure, he served as president of the Minnesota Ports Association and was an active member of several other maritime groups.
One of the largest construction projects in the region will continue this year with an eye toward completion in 2019. Superior High School is undergoing a $60 million renovation. Also approved by referendum was a new Cooper Elementary building in Superior. Construction began last spring and the new facility is slated to open in the fall of 2018. The elementary building will have a 600 student capacity. For more on these and other stories, visit businessnorth.com.
If you have a comment on our show, call now, dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message, or send an email to almanacnorth@wdsc.org and visit the WDSC website for our program schedule, updates on our local shows, and upcoming events here at the station. And Kelsey, I hope you enjoyed getting back onto television again, at least for tonight.
Yeah, we had some great conversations, too.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll see you again. For Kelsey and the crew here at WDSC, I'm Dennis Anderson. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody, and be kind.